All right, Cappy. So this week from Lay Vampire, you pulled discipline, training, consistency, and practice. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled mysticism. Now, discipline from Lay Vampire, anytime that this card shows up for me, is suggesting that the person may be dealing with issues like not sticking to the plans that they have set for themselves. And this card is a reminder to keep doing this. Discipline is saying that you have the ability to create, the program of change in your life, but you have to stick to the commitments that you have set for yourself. But when you're looking at it with mysticism, it's one of two ways. It's one of these things where, for some of you, it may be a situation where you're getting like unknown motivation to do something. And discipline is saying, yes, you need to start working toward this or continue to do that. The other part of it, though, is, again, this shows up when people start to falter. And it may be because you don't know what's going to happen. Mysticism is saying to trust in the intuition, trust in your intuitive knowing, and trust in the unknown. Intuitively, you know that you need to continue to work for this, then you need to keep doing that. But, if you don't know what the results are going to be, it's saying that you need to continue doing this anyway. Right? Have faith in the unknown and just continue to work toward it. All right, Cappy, here we go. Here's the energy coming through, the Three of Wands. Talking about not knowing what's going to happen. Looking at the Three of Wands as a signifier, this to me is one of those cards where, typically in a lot of decks, you see this. The Fool and the Three of Wands, both of them are looking out over the cliff. The difference is with the Three of Wands, you should already know what to expect because these are the things that you have set into motion. But you're in a period here of like waiting to see what is going to develop. This could be a situation here where you started putting in some effort here and now it's like you're waiting to see what's going to happen. And like you may not know, even though you should already know. It's weird. It's weird. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Cappy, so the Two of Cups. When I look at the Two of Cups, for me, there's a stronger sense of relationship happening here than more so than the Lovers for me. And that could just be because I'm a water sign. But it's more, the description of the card too, because when you're looking at it, these are two people who are so absorbed in each other that nothing else in the world exists. Emotionally, they're sharing everything. And they are so deeply connected. And this may pertain to you not knowing where the progress is going to lead within a relationship. Oh, in the present, the Seven of Wands. So, when I see the Seven of Wands, it's one of those cards where, automatically I feel like the person is going, I'm not taking this shit anymore, right? This is how I feel. This is what I stand. This is how, or what I'm going to do, right? It is about using your voice. It is suggesting that for some of you, it may be a situation where people like are opposing you and opposing what you're doing here. Right? But I kind of get the feeling that there's a need here for you to start using your voice. Like I'm almost like seeing it in the reverse. Future conditions, and there you are, right? Looking at the Queen of Pentacles as future conditions, especially when you're looking at the Three of Wands, that to me is, a successful person. It's not, the King of Pentacles is the pinnacle of success, right? The Queen of Pentacles very much is about, this is the person who is creating this stable, secure foundation, the stable, secure home. They're the ones that bust their ass all day, pay the bills, make sure everything is good at home, right? They lay down that strong foundation. And I definitely do feel like this is you in future conditions. Now, for some of you looking at the Two of Cups, it could be a situation here where you are dealing with another earth sign. Cap, Taurus, or Virgo, right? And again, for a lot of you, it may be a situation where you're looking for progress within a relationship, But I think there's a need here for you to use your voice. But also, I feel like you need to be true to you. Because again, the Seven of Wands, look, I'm not taking any more shit within a relationship, right? I'm going to be true to myself. And I'm going to be like practical about it, you know? You're not being over emotional. You're not being too, logical. It's not that you're not smart about it, but it's not like you're being too mentally critical about the situation. You're just being you. You're being practical. You're more concerned with the long term than the short term. But for some reason, there's a need here for you to start using your voice. Oh yeah, your best path to follow. Again, looking at the Knight of Pentacles, looking at the long term. And then the other thing too is this is really slow progress. Really slow progress. And it may be because there may have been some difficulties within a relationship, looking at the Seven of Wands. But again, with the Knight of Pentacles, it's, practical energy. It's practical energy. You're laying down, plans for your own long-term security and stability, especially when it comes to relationships. Now, when you're looking at the Knight of Pentacles, though, this is one of those cards for me where when I see that and I see relationship cards, it's like this is a friend. This is somebody who, is like more interested in like their own financial security. They're more interested in earthly possessions than they are anything emotional, almost. And it's not like, necessarily a bad thing. It just, they come off more as like the friend. And it could be somebody that you're working with. And again, I still have that feeling where some of you may be dealing with another earth sign. But I do, get the sense here, though, too, that with the Three of Wands, right? You're looking for long-term stability. But it's one of those things where this may be a really slow progression forward within a relationship. Oh, in your environment. Well, now, that is where the opposition is coming in. So, oh, shit. When you're looking at the Knight of Wands, this is somebody who's super excited and constantly going after things, and they're in and they're out, right? I always call them the one-night standers. They're in it and then they're out, and they come in like a fucking whirlwind out of nowhere with a bunch of passion with them, and they're like, oh, yes, come with me. And you're like, yeah, I'm gone. Right? But there's a part of you that's still being a little bit more practical about it. Now, looking at the Knight of Wands in your environment, this could definitely have to do with a fire sign, especially looking at the Seven of Wands. And again, it may be a situation where somebody is like opposing your viewpoint. You're wanting a practical, long-term, stable relationship, and you're looking for that progress to start, but this is like opposing it. And it may be because they're just so full of passion. It's like, I look at it as like you're wanting both, but you're still at the same time wanting that security and that stability. You don't want somebody that's going to be in and out, right? Oh, shit. In your environment, the King of Wands, looking at the Knight of Wands, or your hopes and your fears. Looking at the Knight of Wands, here's the thing, when shit, I'm like hearing it all at once. When you're looking at the King of Wands and your hopes and your fears, again, this has to do with the fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sag. Okay? This is somebody, and look at the shit-eating grin on that lion. I'm telling you, you see that? You're hoping for, him to like, him or her to get a little bit more wisdom here with the way that they are, because they are so full of passion, on the go and on the move, and they're doing things all the time, and you're wanting them to settle down just a little bit, and let's look at the long term, and let's start to get some progression forward within this relationship. But he's like, oh my goodness. This is somebody who I don't feel like they have any bad intentions. That I will say. I just think that they're, it's funny because I get the feeling of somebody who's like a smart ass, right? It's almost like you're hoping for them to start settling down and stop being so damn wild, right? Because I do think that, you are being the responsible one here. You're trying to create that nice, stable foundation, laying down those roots. You're the one that's making the comfortable home while he's all over the place, And again, this could be male or female both ways. But I can't stop looking at that shit-eating grin on that lion like, yeah, I know. I deal with the fire sign. Let me tell you, if that card ain't my husband. And again, for some of you, it's just, this is how they truly are. Their soul is like young. They're young and they're on fire, right? But even when they get to that point here where they start to gain some, wisdom and start settling down a little bit here with the King of Wands, they still carry that with them. That smart-ass kid that still stays with them. It's funny. And discipline. It's no wonder. It's no wonder why that's showing up with mysticism, especially if you don't know where things are heading within a relationship. But stick to it. Stick to it. And that goes for the other person too, especially if you are dealing with a fire sign. All right. Oh, shit. I'm telling you, you stick with it, Capricorn. This fucking reading is amazing. I love it. Your readings never fail. They never fail to amaze me. The Ace of Cups. This is a relationship that you want to stick with. I mean, look at it. He may be a little wild. You may have this person who is like super passionate and, needs to settle down a little bit. But damn it, looking at the Ace of Cups, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. You may be sitting around waiting to see some progress within this relationship and them like, stop it. Like, stop being so wild, right? But when you're looking at the Ace of Cups, man, there's a lot of happiness here. A lot of happiness. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, Cap. All right, we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what else is going on here. And it's no wonder with mysticism and discipline. It's like, I don't know why I'm being pushed to do this, but I guess I have to stick with this, right? Because it's one of those situations where I think Capricorn is like, what the hell are you doing? But you love them. You love them regardless. Oh, detachment, release, shit, and be open. Okay, so when you're looking at detachment, that is detaching yourself from, the negative things, right? Release. You need to release that so that you can be open to this Ace of Cups. And I do get the feeling that for some of you, it may be a situation where you're looking at it like, why am I even bothering with this? Because again, of discipline and mysticism showing up, but you need to be open. You need to be open to this because this relationship, looking at the Ace of Cups, fucking fantastic. They may drive you nuts and they may not settle down, but damn it, this is going to be a really good emotional thing for you. I'm telling you, there are things that you're going to have to detach from and, like release, let go of control a little bit, jump on the back of the horse for a little while, right? Instead of being in this practical mode. But the thing is though, when you're looking at this as your best path to follow, yeah, you want something that is long-term and stable. But then at the same time, it's like, you need to still be willing to kind of go with the flow of the situation. I think they'll get there. I think they do. But the potential here is beautiful. All right, we're going to take a look at the romance angels to see what exactly is going on in terms of love. Oh man, that card cracks me up. So, and again, with detachment, there's nothing here bad that you need to detach yourself from other than this feeling of like, like they're going against your viewpoint, get rid of that thought, right? Release and surrender, and be open. I mean, both of them to me are like surrendering to the flow, because you're looking at something brand new, right? When you release from the way that you think things should be and you start opening up to going with the flow, right? I'm looking at the way the trees are going here and then seeing the Ace of Cups. Yes. Heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. Here, and you know what's funny is, I don't know why, but I'm so like wrapped up in the images. If you're going to be talking to them and they're looking the other way, that's basically saying don't be nagging, right? Just basically be open about how you feel, right? I want to be long-term. I want to be stable. I don't want this to be an in and out situation. I think they know that, but it's like, you know, I think you need to get caught up in the whirlwind for a little bit, right? And see where it takes you. But, you know, the other thing too is, yeah, you know, Cap, you have to be true to yourself, right? If you're wanting to have a long-term stable relationship, it is something that you need to voice. But just be careful about, like, you know, maybe being a little bit too oppressive with your viewpoint. That may be where you're facing some opposition from them. You know, I just kind of get the feeling here where you kind of get to the point with the Ace of Cups and then again seeing that shit-eating grin where you're like, ah, yeah, I love this person, right? It's beautiful, Cap. I love this reading.